Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu meets G5 governors at Aso Rock. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino meets President Tinubu. Plus, French opposition MPs failed to pass pension repeal bill. Details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news tonight is a report that President Bola Tinubu today met with a group of aggrieved politicians within the People's Democratic Party (PDP), known as the G5 or the Integrity Group. In attendance at the meeting at the Aso Rock are one serving governor and four former governors within the party. They are Governor Seyi Makinde, Oyo, as well as former governors Nyesom Wike, Rivers, Samuel Otom, Benue Okeze Bazu, Abia, and Ifeanyi Ugwanyi of Enugu State. The current governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, was also present. The G5, who were all governors before four of them handed over on May 29, 2023, formed an alliance after the party's presidential primary in May 2022 to demand that the then PDP national chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, step down for a southern replacement as a precondition to support the presidential ambition of the party's flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar, in the February 25 poll. Meanwhile, both Atiku and Ayu called the then governor's bluff and did not succumb to their demands in the just concluded elections. A number of times, Tinubu met with Wike and Makinde before the elections. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has reassured members of the incoming 10th National Assembly that his administration remains firm on the choice of candidates for the presiding officers' positions made by the leadership of the All Progressives Congress APC. Tinubu spoke when he met with senators-elect and members-elect of the APC at the presidential villa, with APC governors and other leaders of the party in attendance. Details emerging from the meeting revealed that Tinubu spoke firmly about the need to work for the victory of the APC's candidates for the 10th National Assembly leadership. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has directed the National Economic Council (NEC), led by Vice President Kashim Shettima, to devise an approach and begin the process of working on interventions to mitigate the impact of subsidy removal on Nigerians. The governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, stated this after leading some major oil marketers on a courtesy visit to the president at the State House. While speaking to newsmen after the meeting, Governor Abiodun, who was a former chairman of the Oil Marketers Association, stated that the marketers expressed solidarity with the president for removing the 4 trillion naira subsidy burden, a move that can enhance the Federation of 50 to 100-seater mass transit buses to help the masses. Away from that now, the federal government has declared Monday, June 12th as public holiday in commemoration of 2023 Democracy Day celebration. The federal government made this known in a statement issued by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Oluwatoyin Akinlade. While congratulating Nigerians on the occasion, Akinlade stated that the country's democratic journey has encountered stormy and smooth sails, just like in many other climes, but that the sheep of state, its institutions, and most importantly, the Nigerian people have remained steadfast on the tenets of democratic governance. The statement added that Nigerians and friends of Nigeria are invited to appreciate the progress that has been made, celebrate the milestones covered, and look forward to a better future for the country's democracy. The Permanent Secretary wished Nigeria and Nigerians a happy Democracy Day. Meanwhile, the federal government has inaugurated the Adoption Readiness Working Group (ARWG) for the implementation of sustainability reporting standards, which is to be issued by the International Sustainability Standards Board (ISSB). The implementation would begin with the general requirements for disclosures of sustainability-related financial information (IFRS) S1, and subsequently the climate-related disclosures (IFRS) S2. It said both standards are expected to be launched globally on June 26, 2023, while implementation would commence on January 1, 2024. Speaking at the inauguration of the working group, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Evelyn Ngige, noted that Nigeria will be the first to adopt the reporting benchmarks in Africa and one of the earliest adopters in the world. In another development, governors from the north-central region of the country have paid the new secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, a courtesy call at his office. The governors, Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State, Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alaya, Governor of Kogi State Yahaya Bello, Governor of Kwara State Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, Governor of Nasarawa State Abdullahi Sule, as well as the Deputy Governor of Niger State Yakubu Garaba. A statement by the Director of Information Office of the SGF, Willie Basi, said the chairman of the North Central Governors Forum, Abdullahi Sule, assured Akume of the region's governor's support. Away from that now, the 10th National Assembly will be inaugurated on Tuesday, June 13. This is according to a statement signed by the clerk to the National Assembly, Sani Tambawal. The statement noted that senators-elect and members-elect of the House of Representatives are to visit the Senate Conference Room 231 and the House of Representatives Conference Room 301, respectively, with copies of their Code of Conduct, clearance certificates of return, and valid identity cards for registration on Monday, June 12 at 10 a.m. Tambawal further added that only senators-elect and members-elect will be given access to the chambers. From the Red Chambers now, where the Senate has passed the bill for the establishment of the Police Pension Board. This followed the recent exit from the contribution pension scheme by the National Assembly workers. However, pension operators have said the expected funding provided in the police bill could not be sustained by the government if it was approved. According to them, the bill excludes the Nigeria Police Force from the contributory pension scheme and returned the force to the old defined benefit scheme. Meanwhile, industry stakeholders said it will cost the federal government 2 trillion naira pension liabilities to cater to about 300,000 police personnel. They added that the bill would make the federal government to fully fund the pensions for the police, as opposed to the CPS that requires contributions from workers and employees. In the meantime, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Baba, has commended the National Assembly for the passage of Police Pension Board Bill and the Nigeria Police Force College, Training School and Institution Establishment Bill. In a statement by the force spokesperson Olumuyiwa Dejobi, Baba pointed out that the removal of the Nigeria Police Force from the contributory pension scheme and establishment of NPF Pension Board is a welcome development and will be resourceful in addressing the plight of police retirees. The IGP described the passage of the two bills as a milestone achievement with positive impacts that will redefine the act of policing in the country, stressing that the bill would standardize the training capacity of the force, enhance police productivity, and address the recurring pension-related hardship. Now to the Green Chambers, where the House of Representatives has said it considered a total of 2,232 bills in the last 4 years, out of which 2,000 were passed. The chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Abubakar Fulata, reeled out statistics showing the performance of the 9th House at the valedictory session of the chamber. Fulata highlighted the bills to include those sponsored by members of the House, bills presented by the executive arm of the government, usually through the President, and bills passed by the Senate and transmitted to the House for concurrence. He added that the 9th Assembly is the most productive of all the assemblies in the history of the National Assembly. Another development, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and the National Population Commission, NPC, have partnered with the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, for the registration of 12.7 million births in 2023. The partnership will also include the issuance of birth certificates that provide the names and nationality of every child in Nigeria under the age of 5 in 21 states, 456 local government areas, and 4,978 wards across the country. UNICEF Chief of Child Protection, Dr. Ibrahim Sese, stated this while leading a team of officials of the agency and the NPC to sign a memorandum of understanding with the NYC of the National Directorate headquarters in Abuja. In a statement by the NYC, Dr. Sese said 800 corps members would be enlisted for the exercise and would work alongside the National Population Commission officials. In a separate development, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has announced his first appointment since inauguration for a second term in office. The governor reappointed his former Chief of Staff Tayo Yinde and Deputy Chief of Staff Boyega Soyanwo to their former roles. Sanwo-Olu also appointed Bimbo Salu Hundayan as the secretary to the state government. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moina today met with President Bola Tinubu at the State House, Abuja, on a scheduled courtesy visit. During the meeting, the governor congratulated the president for his assumption of office and conveyed the best wishes of Akwa Ibom people to the president. President Tinubu, who displayed a deep knowledge of Akwa Ibom State in his response, said that he was very happy to receive Pastor Eno, adding that he will support the Arise agenda of Governor Eno's administration. Speaking to the State House correspondents after the courtesy visit, Governor Eno said he was on a mission to build political and economic bridges for the good of Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria. According to Governor Eno, he used the opportunity to also brief the president on the progress made in Akwa Ibom State so far and solicited his support and that of the federal government for the completion of the Ibom Deep Seaport project, the Calabar to Road, and the export-free zone license for the maintenance, repairs, and operations MRO hangar at the Victoria International Airport, Uyo, which is the only MRO in West Africa. The governor therefore stressed that he was committed to bringing the dividends of democracy and good governance to the people of Akwa Ibom State. And while this World Brain Tumor Day is celebrated around the globe today with the theme Protect Yourself, Keep Away from Stress, people have been advised on getting proper rest daily in order to reduce risks of developing tumor growth in the brain. Speaking with Spectrum Television on the significance of the celebration, Public Health Representative to Nigerian Medical Student Association Oko Adet, who described brain tumor as an abnormal growth of cells in the brain or around it, said that brain tumors can be cancerous or non-cancerous. According to him, the specific effects of a brain tumor on the brain can vary widely depending on individual factors and the characteristics of the tumor. He further talked about the types of tumor that can develop in the brain. He identified some common treatments for brain tumor to include surgery, radiation therapy, and chemotherapy. Still to come in the news. Euro area economy enters recession. Do stay with us.
Your attention, please. Uyo, listen up. Ibom Air is turning 4 and we are turning up. With a first of its kind drive-in cinema featuring our world record breaker Hilda Bassi live in Uyo, Nollywood stars Ime Bishop, Iniedo and Chidi Mogene. Also featuring Kenny Black, Dan Dizzy, Ipaudo and lots more performances. Side attractions include stunts by bikers and BMW Club. There'll be light painting and graffiti wall. It's a cruise party. Date is Friday, 9th of June 2023. Venue is a car park Tropicana Entertainment Center, Uyo. Time, red carpet and main event 5 p.m. while the movie is 8 p.m. prompt. Proudly supported by Guinness, BMW, Jameson Irish Whiskey, Cold Stone, Tropicana Mall, Ibom Icon Hotel and Golf Resort, Domino's Pizza, DreamWorks Direct, Iwalewa Art Gallery, and many more. This event is strictly by invitation. Stay tuned to this platform and all Ibom Air's social media platforms for more information. Ibom Air, flying forward. This event is powered by Clola Media.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Every society is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive and how long they stick together. Join Uyai Anyekan on Connect every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 to 3 p.m. on channel 421 on Star Times to catch all the conversations, interviews, real stories and how to navigate relationships and family life in the 21st century. Real people, real faces, real stories. Connect live on Spectrum Television.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by cross them. Our governance have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian, from issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
Security,
education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Many thanks for staying tuned. We move on now to Africa, where Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has said he has contracted COVID-19 after one of 3 tests conducted on him turned out positive. Museveni, who gave a State of the Nation address earlier on Wednesday, said he had developed a slight cold, prompting him to get tested. The Permanent Secretary of the Health Ministry, Diana Atwene, said the president had developed mild flu-like symptoms but was in good health and would continue his duties. She said the president would adhere to standard operating procedures for COVID cases while performing his role. Uganda had some of the strictest measures in Africa to limit the spread of the virus at the height of the pandemic, including long curfews and closure of schools and businesses. The country fully reopened in February 2022. Still in Africa, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have spoken over the phone about the upcoming peace mission by 6 African leaders to Russia and Ukraine. Recall that on Tuesday, the African leaders involved had held discussions exploring ways of bringing an end to the conflict. The other leaders involved in the peace bid from the Comoros, Egypt, Senegal, Uganda, and Senegal. And according to a statement from the presidency on Wednesday, all said they were available to travel in mid-June. Meanwhile, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa is due to lead a delegation of government leaders to Hammanskraal, a township north of the capital Pretoria, where there was a deadly outbreak of cholera. Ramaphosa said the outbreak had caused devastation and government agencies had been working on measures to contain the spread of the disease. His visit follows the death of at least 26 people, mostly in Hammanskraal, the epicenter of the outbreak. Reports say more than 130 residents have been treated for the waterborne disease. In the meantime, the slaughter, sale, and consumption of meat has been banned for a month in a northern region of Ghana because of a deadly anthrax outbreak. Anthrax is a highly contagious bacterial disease that affects livestock and can be transmitted to humans. The movement of animals such as cows, sheep, goats, pigs, and donkeys have also been banned in Upper East region to avoid the spread of the disease. According to reports, 1 person has so far died and 13 suspected cases have been identified. There are suspicions that 8 anthrax-infected beef. Reports say at least 30 animals have died from anthrax. Meanwhile, medics are tracing the contacts of those affected, and efforts to vaccinate animals free of charge to contain the spread of the disease have also been stepped up. Elsewhere, Sudan's Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has replaced 2 state governors. It comes as fighting intensifies in the capital Khartoum and other areas between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF). The 2 seized power in a coup in October 2021, but are now involved in a power struggle. General Burhan dismissed North Kordofan State Governor Fadlallah Mohammed Ali Al-Tom and Sena State's Al-Ali Ibrahim Al-Nur. Caretaker governors have been appointed. Meanwhile, no reason was given for their dismissal. Parts of North Kordofan have witnessed fierce battles between the warring parties, though there has been no fighting in Sena State. According to reports, at least 883 civilians have been killed and more than 3,800 others wounded since the conflict erupted on 15th April. In a related development, Saudi Arabia has condemned an attack on its embassy in Sudan's capital in the strongest terms. The Saudi Foreign Ministry blamed armed groups for storming and vandalizing the building in Khartoum, adding that the property and housing of Saudi employees had also been vandalized. Saudi Arabia, along with the US, has taken a leading role in trying to engage with the warring sides since the conflict erupted in mid-April. It also stressed the importance of confronting groups that it said were trying to undermine the restoration of stability and security in Sudan. Meanwhile, the statement posted on Twitter did not specify which groups were behind the attack. So in Africa, the outbreak of Marburg virus disease in Equatorial Guinea has ended today, with no new cases reported over the past 42 days after the last patient was discharged from treatment. Recall that the outbreak, which was declared on February 13, was the first of its kind in Equatorial Guinea. A total of 17 laboratory-confirmed cases and 12 deaths were recorded, and 5 districts in 4 of Equatorial Guinea's 8 provinces were affected. Marburg is in the same family as the virus that causes Ebola virus disease. The Marburg virus is transmitted to people from fruit bats and spreads among humans through direct contact with the bodily fluids of infected people, surfaces, and materials. The World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa, Dr. Matshidiso Moeti, said while outbreak-prone diseases continue to pose a major health threat in Africa, that they can bank on the region's growing expertise in health emergency response to act quickly and decisively to safeguard the health and avert widespread loss of life. Meanwhile, on the UN Under-Secretary General for Peace Operations Jean Lacroix has said that peacekeepers should withdraw from the Democratic Republic of Congo DRC as quickly as possible, yet responsibly. Speaking in the capital Kinshasa during a visit to the DRC, Lacroix said the Congolese state should step up its response to the armed groups that is reportedly plaguing the east of the country, while noting the frustration the insecurity is causing the peacekeeping mission. According to Lacroix, the public has been concerned by the violence that occurred during recent demonstrations, and it is essential to put an end to the crisis. Reports say the UN peacekeeping force in Democratic Republic of Congo, known as MONUSCO, is one of the largest and costliest in the world, with an annual budget of $1 billion, and has been present in the country since 1999. On the foreign scene now, centrist opposition group Liads decided to withdraw its bill a couple of hours after the heated debate started because the text had been emptied of its initial content. Macron's unpopular reform provides that the legal retirement age will go up to 64 by 2030. According to reports, Macron's centrist party does not have a majority in the National Assembly and the lower house of parliament, but that it allied with some Republican lawmakers to push back the opposition's efforts. As a result, the key article stipulating the retirement age was removed from the bill when it was reviewed by the Social Affairs Committee last week. Meanwhile, leftist lawmakers said they would now prompt a confidence vote to be held at the beginning of next week. Macron's government has survived previous confidence votes. Still on the foreign scene, a man armed with a knife reportedly attacked a group of preschool children playing by a lake in the French Alps today, wounding 4 as well as an adult and sending shockwaves through the country. A police source told newsmen that the suspect is a Syrian in his early 30s who was granted refugee status in Sweden in April. Witnesses told newsmen that the culprit attacked the children before the old man and was shouting. Reports say 2 of the children believed to be aged around 3 and an adult victim were in critical condition and fighting for their lives in hospital, and the man was arrested at the scene. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron called it an attack of absolute cowardice. In the meantime, the devastating fires have displaced more than 20,000 people and scorched about 3.8 million hectares of land in Canada, where Prime Minister Justin Trudeau described this wildfire season as the country's worst ever. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, more than 100 million people across the northeastern United States and extending west to Chicago and south to Atlanta were under pollution warnings after the smoke drifted hundreds of miles from Canada. Due to hundreds of uncontrolled wildfires across Canada, New York City looks like a post-apocalyptic hellscape. Reports say the thick pollution cast an eerie yellowish glow over the Big Apple's famous skyscrapers, delayed flights and forced the postponement of sporting events. Meanwhile, Canada is on track to face its worst ever year of wildfire destruction. Blazes are burning in nearly all Canadian provinces and territories, and federal government officials said their modeling shows increased wildfire risk in most of Canada through August. In the meantime, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has visited the region flooded by the breached Kakhovka Dam today, as Moscow installed authorities and said 5 people had been killed in the disaster. Zelensky said the dam was breached on Tuesday, forcing thousands to flee their homes as water surged into the Dnipro River, flooding dozens of villages and parts of the regional capital Kherson and sparking fears of a humanitarian disaster. Meanwhile, a regional governor, Alexander Prokhodin, noted that Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of causing the breach, which today had left 600 square kilometers underwater. The governor added that despite the danger and heavy Russian shelling, evacuation from the flooded area continues. Still on the foreign scene, the UN nuclear watchdog has said that the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) will strengthen its presence at the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant next week. According to a statement by IAEA, a new and larger team will replace the group currently at a plant in southern Ukraine when Director Rafael Grossi visits the facility next week. Recall that Russia captured the nuclear plant in March last year, that it is reportedly operated mainly by Ukrainian staff. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Esther Otoyo.
Thank you, Savior Robert. Good evening. It is business news. My name is Esther Otoyo. In the news, the Eurozone economy unexpectedly shrank at 0.1% quarter-on-quarter in the first 3 months of 2023, compared to early estimates of the modest 0.1% rise. Figures for the final quarters of 2022 were also reviewed to show a 0.1% fall instead of a flat reading, which means the Eurozone has now entered a small technical recession. In the first quarter of 2023, household expenditure decreased to 0.3%. Also, public spending declined by 1.6% as governments rolled back stimulus that were meant to partly offset the impact of rising energy costs. Also, exports decreased by 0.1% and imports fell to 1.3%. Among the bloc's biggest economy, Germany shrank 0.3%, and Ireland 4.6%, while France grew 0.2%, Italy 0.6%, and Spain 0.5%. In Nigeria, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPCL, has said that it will reduce its imports of premium motor spirits, commonly known as petrol, once the Dangote refinery begins production of refined petroleum products in late July or early August. Currently, NNPCL is Nigeria's sole importer of petrol. According to the National Oil Firm spokesperson, Gabar Din Mohammed, during a media briefing, fuel importation will be eliminated due to the establishment of Dangote refinery. NNPCL owns a 20% stake in the 650,000 barrels per day crude oil processing refinery. In Lagos State, the Lagos Internal Revenue Service, LIRS, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, have revealed that both agencies will establish a joint audit or investigation team. Both the LIRS and the FIRS signed a memorandum of understanding. The overall objective of the team would be to improve tax administration and reduce tax compliance costs, thereby enabling ease of doing business in the country. This will also encourage the exchange of information between the federal and state tax agencies, according to reports. This is all on business news, and back to Savio Robert for the rest of the news.
Thanks, Esther. Still to come in the news. Chris Paul's time in the Valley of the Sun over. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now in health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has said that the country needs a peacetime health system to be better prepared for the next pandemic. The Director General of the NCDC, Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa, said this in Abuja at the Institute of Human Virology, Nigeria, and the International Research Center of Excellence Scientific Seminar. He noted that there was a need for the development of libraries for rapid diagnostic, therapeutic, and vaccine development in anticipation of disease, adding that there is also a need for the country to intensify its approaches to health promotion, disease prevention, and emergency response. Still in health now, Nigeria's former Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, says many people are unaware that constant bleeding, especially during or just after sexual intercourse, can be an early sign of cervical cancer. Adewale, co-founder, African Cancer Coalition, told newsmen in an interview that cervical cancer was preventable and treatable if presented and diagnosed early. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), cervical cancer is still the second most common cancer among women in Nigeria and the fourth most common cancer among women globally. It is the most common among women ages 15 through 44 years, claiming 7,900 women's lives each year from the 12,000 cases reported in Nigeria. Adewale added that the challenge in Nigeria, just like the challenge in Africa and many developing countries, is that a lot of people are largely unaware of the situation with cervical cancer and come to hospitals when it has reached the advanced stage. Meanwhile, the European Commission (EU) said it support health initiatives across the globe with 1.23 billion euros, an equivalent of $1.32 billion. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, in a press release noted that the Commission is aiming to put mental health at par with physical health by focusing on prevention, access to mental health care, treatment and reintegration after recovery. Speaking in the same vein, the EU Health Commissioner Stella Kyriakides said it will break down stigma and discrimination so that those in need can reach out and receive the support they need. The Health Commissioner added that the move came after the COVID-19 pandemic negatively affected the psychological well-being of many Europeans. Let's head over now to Isaac for trending sports stories.
Well, thank you very much, Xavier Roberts. In sports, basketball festival, the Phoenix Suns informed Paul on Wednesday that he would be waived. According to the reports, the 30-year-old future Hall of Famer will become a free agent after spending the last 3 seasons with the Suns. With 2 years left on his 4-year contract, Chris Paul was due to make a $30.8 million this season, but only has made $15.8 million of that. By clearing cap space, the Suns will now build around Kevin Durant and Devin Booker as again tried to capture the franchise's first championship under new coach Frank Vogel. Despite being near the end of his career, Paul will still be considered one of the summer's top free agents, as he can still efficiently run an offense and excels at finding open teammates. In his first season with the Phoenix Suns back in 2020, he helped the Suns reach the NBA Finals, where they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks in 6 games. Also talking basketball in Africa, ahead of the 2023 Women's AfroBasket, the head coach of the Senegalese team, Mustafa Gaye, has announced a list of the invited players, and they are expected to resume in camp next week. Senegal are among the 12 countries that have qualified to compete with the defending champions Nigeria's the Tigers for the title. The list of 19 players is made up of 4 leaders, 7 wingers, 8 pivots, and will start the preparations this Monday, the 12th of June, 2023. The AfroBasket 2023 scheduled from July 28 to August 6 in Kigali, and Senegal last won it in 2015. Well, in football, Nigeria's under-20 men's national team, the Flying Eagles, would arrive in Abuja today. The Flying Eagles were unable to fly past Korea Republic in the quarterfinals of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup after beating host Argentina. The Koreans labored hard to get the lone goal in extra time after a goalless draw in regulation time to end Nigeria's dream of picking semi-final ticket. The loss means the players and officials of the team lost the opportunity to own a parcel of land in Abuja, following a promise by a businessman that each player and the officials will get a free land in Abuja if they win the title. But that's it on sport. My name is Isaac. Back to you, Xavier.
Thanks, Isaac. Now, on the entertainment scene, Afrobeat superstar David Adeleke, also known as Davido, has said he and Wizkid were the first young Nigerian artists to hit stardom. The singer, however, noted he was excited to see new cats such as Burna Boy, Rema Fireboy, Mayokun, and Asake now excelling in the music industry. The 30 BG crooner stated this in an interview that went viral on social media today. His statement has since sparked reactions on social media, with some Burna Boy's fans calling out Davido for placing the Grammy Award singer in the same bracket with emerging music artists. Still in entertainment, American actress Shannon Doherty has said that the terminal breast cancer she has been receiving treatment for over several years has now spread to her brain. Doherty made this known in an emotional video post on her Instagram page as she received radiation treatment. She disclosed in the caption that a scan in early January had revealed mets or metastasis in her brain. The 52-year-old actor, known for her roles in television series including Charmed and Beverly Hills, wrote in the caption, "My fear is obvious. I am extremely claustrophobic, and there was a lot going on in my life. But that fear, that turmoil, the timing of it all, this is what cancer can look like," close quote. According to reports, Doherty's announcement received an outpouring of support from celebrities and fans. Meanwhile, the wife of Sina Rambo, son of Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State, has publicly confirmed her divorce from the singer. The estranged wife made the announcement via her Instagram story and revealed her intention to give away her diamond wedding ring to a couple that is preparing to tie the knot. Court's controversial action has sparked various reactions among Nigerians, with many wondering who would want a wedding ring previously worn by a divorcee. Recall that Sina Rambo and Haiti Court had their court wedding in October 2021, followed by their introduction ceremony in November, and the couple share a daughter together. However, their relationship has been marred by controversies. Meanwhile, Sina Rambo, the spouse of Haiti Court, is yet to make an official statement regarding the matter. And lastly, on entertainment, former Big Brother Naija housemate Natasha Akide, popularly known as Tacha or simply Tacha, has unveiled a new radio show in Lagos. Tacha is set to start the show on radio as an on-air personality. The show, called The Big Friday Show, will be aired on Cool 96.9 FM Lagos. An excited Tacha took to Twitter and Instagram to share the news with her fans, urging them to listen to her through 9 p.m. on Fridays. And that's all we have for you this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert. Wishing you a terrific night rest. Bye-bye for now.